Hey everyone, welcome back to The Contemporary Entrepreneur. I'm here with our beautiful guest, Alora.
Hey baby.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
That's fantastic. So I've got some cupcakes, got some water if you need anything. If you get peckish during the interview, just, dive in. So for those that do not know who you are and what you do, can you tell the beautiful audience what you do?
Hey guys, I go by the name of Alora. I am a singer-songwriter rapper from East London.
Okay, fantastic. So let's get started. So before you actually sat on our hot chair, I was listening to some of your tunes and I feel like you're really amazing.
Thank
And
you.
you've got something different to you. And I feel like really important, especially in our day and age as well, because everyone is doing the same thing, same sound and everything. So what makes you different to other artists, do you think?
I feel like it's my ability to just tell stories. I just love using what I've been through, my experiences, my emotions to just tell stories and let people see a more positive outlook to life.
Okay, that's really good. And I overheard you talking to the guys earlier, and you
Yeah.
said that you didn't like calling yourself a rapper, you used to call yourself
An urban poet.
Yeah. So what's that all about? Urban poet.
As you can see, I'm not your conventional rapper.
Yeah.
And obviously, my journey has been so different. It wasn't more or less like everyone else, whereas they were doing it when they were really young, and then it was their journey. My one was like at uni. I was acting first, and then that's when I dived into music and rapping. I was always into lyricism.
Okay.
And obviously storytelling and stuff like that. But I would never say I'm like a rapper, big chain, get it. And it took me a long time to kind of come to terms of, even though I'm not a conventional rapper, you can still be an unconventional rapper.
Yeah.
So for a long time I was saying I was an urban poet, but my enthusiasm says otherwise.
Yeah, definitely. From the songs that I've heard, you're really, really good.
Thank
so keep
you.
on going. So let's talk about your new single, Julie, right?
Julie.
Really amazing song. So you've been heard on BBC, Radio 6, Reprezent Radio, Pulse 88.
Hey, PRS!
So many stations.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your interview you had at Reprezent Radio recently. How was that?
That was good. That was in Mid-Dogs, Young Boss. That was
Yeah,
really,
they're
really
great.
good.
They're amazing. So let's talk about your single, Julie, and what's it about?
It's always a funny question when you ask what Julie's about. Julie is a very expressive song. It's kind of like, it was kind of my little present to one of my friends.
Oh,
In a weird way, even though I don't really like her that much, but that was
Julie!
if you're watching this, girl, I love you.
Julie!
So
you basically wrote a song for your friend.
Yeah, so she was with me in terms of this journey from the beginning, and she was there when I was early rapping, a bit more like jokingly and rapping about stuff that I would never more or less rap about now.
Yeah.
We're not gonna bring those raps out, but obviously she was just like, oh, we need to get more saucy, And then one time she was just like in a rut, and she was just like, I'm just so annoyed, and I was just like, oh. Give me a second, let me play you something.
Okay.
Then I put on a beat and I started rapping to her over the phone, and then it instantly made her mood bit better, and we were just like, yeah, this is my little thing for you, because you were always saying that you wanted to hear something like this. And then the hook didn't come around until like maybe I was rapping it, looking through beats, and then I was just like, nah, this is hard, we'll up the blood clot. And then I was just like, Julie, we'll up the blood, and then it just stuck. And then when I went to the studio, you always do this thing, I don't know if many artists do it, but I do it, like, you're in the studio and you're waiting for the clicks to come in for you to jump into the verse, but then you're just hyping yourself up, you're just saying certain things. So the first thing I went in was like, we'll up the blood clot, Julie. And then I said to the engineer, don't delete that. That's staying still. And then we kind of went from there.
Okay, great creativity.
Thank you.
What's your favourite line in that sort of single, would you say?
I would say it's the first line.
Yeah.
I'm the whole package, baby. This is what you ordered. Lips, hips, brown eyes, nothing altered.
Are you listening? Are you listening, girl?
I was saying it because in this game you have to be really confident.
Yeah.
And with everything, the way society's moving, with how the girls and rap and stuff like that, nothing against it, but there's a lot of pressure to change your appearance and just change who you really, really are. But I don't change for anyone. That was my line, saying I'm saucy just the way I am.
So you stayed yourself.
Yeah,
that's
basically.
Really good.
So that was my favourite. Upon others, but that was my favourite.
Okay, that's great. So I want to say congratulations, you become a Roundhouse resident in 2019. How was that experience for you and how did it come about?
You know what, it was actually part of my management, Camilla as well. She was just saying, there's the Roundhouse, you should get into it. They're doing artist residencies for 2019, you should really apply. That's actually so funny again because I was just like, yeah, I'll apply. I was into acting before, I was into music, so I was always like, yeah, I'm gonna go audition and let them know my story and that stuff. And then I remember I was on the phone to her, I was like, oh yeah, so what's it again? What's Roundhouse again? And I knew it was, but I just took it. I was taking the piece like, what's it again? I'm going to audition. What is it again? What's it again before I go in? And then just went in, auditioned, sang them. I think I sang them 2 songs, Homecoming and an exclusive song. And then a lot of the time it was just sitting down talking about my journey, just like how we're doing now. And then they were really much pleased with like where I wanted to go and where I saw myself and the progress I had made in terms of just my story, and they thought it was different and they kind of latched onto that. And then got in.
Amazing. God is good.
Yeah.
So Roundhouse resident. So what does that mean? What do you do?
It's kind of like I always described it as like a uni but for like creatives.
Okay.
They basically offer their facilities, their services, their advice, their mentorship, and they just more or less just give you an environment to kind of build your expertise and just work on your craft. And then they offer so many different opportunities like performing at different festivals or shows, or just linking up with other creatives and just creating that type of environment for you guys to just get to know each other and network.
Okay, that's good. I actually want to give a big shout to Roundhouse because I feel like they're amazing. I've been there a few times.
Shout out to them.
And what they do for creators as well is so needed. I feel like we're just starting out having like different facilities for creators, and it's really important because let's say like maybe 5 years ago this wouldn't have been about. So
5 years ago they were still seeing music as a hobby, and no one really wanted to kind of nurture artists like, oh, I want to be an artist. No one really want to be okay, here's a safe space for you to come and kind of create. We want to see you do good. Whereas now it's like everyone's just like, oh, you do music? Okay, let's do this, let's work.
Any company you do music or you're creative, they're so interested in it. It's so nice.
And it's such a good time to be doing music right now.
It really is. Okay, so as an artist, what keeps you motivated and how do you maintain that? Because I know there's some days you can't go to do nothing. It's like, oh, I can't be
them bills. Money I've been made, even under the weather. But I think it's just being self-motivated is just something I've always been. But then those days where you just can't push yourself, you just think about family, think about the end goal, think about the journey as well, because I always say it's risky to not follow your dreams. Because if you sit there at the end of everything and we're all old and everyone's talking about that story about remember when we crashed this party and we performed here, and you're just like, wow, I never took that dive.
You're gonna have regret.
Do you know what I mean? So it's always better to kind of take that leap of faith and stay motivated by the journey than having to regret not ever taking the step in the first place.
Okay, that's really good. So in terms of music, like what do you feel like the music industry needs to change?
They need me to come and change this. I'm going to come and change. With the music industry, I feel like it's on its way to a good place. As I say, we're always advancing different genres, different subgenres. I think, I'm not going to say artists need to be accepting of other artists because humans are just humans. Some people accept you, some people don't accept you. It just is what it is. I would say that I feel like people need to be a bit more open to conscious messages. I feel like, obviously they say that it doesn't really sell and stuff like that, but there is really a generation behind us that are going to take the lead someday and they're going to use us as reference. So it's like, I only hope more conscious music is going to be brought to the limelight, and I don't personally know if like maybe there's a place where they can just bring it out and still treat us like you're doing pop music, but I definitely feel like people need to keep the message in mind and be a bit more conscious of the message they're putting out. But apart from that, do your thing.
So talking about that, just of being a role model, what are 2 things you would tell your younger self?
I think I mentioned taking risks, which is a big thing because of the whole regret thing. And then another thing I would say is just be confident in your intuition and kind of how you see yourself, because everyone has an answer for you, but only you will know the real answer, because no one else has to live the life you live.
Yeah.
So just obviously take advice, be open to collaborations, be open to like people's opinions, but have enough self-awareness to be like, okay, I'm going to filter through this. I might take that advice, I might not take this advice, but I'm always going to stick with my true self.
Okay, great answer. So let's talk about your future. And
Hello.
2020, we're 3 months into 2020, and I actually saw a tweet. Someone said we're 3 months into 2020, but it feels like a decade. It feels like a whole 2 years.
Yeah.
But what have you got coming up in the next months? Festivals?
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a lot of shows. I'm a performer. I love being on stage, so you're definitely going to see me at your favourite shows this year. And we're working towards a project as well. Singles are so like, people love singles, people like disposable music, they like to listen and listen to something else, but I feel like projects tell a very important story. And if you engage with an artist to a certain extent, when you do hear their project, you're like, okay, I get you that much more, because now you've told me a story in full instead of just partially, where you're just trying to put out a little jingle here so people can have like a little dance, but a whole project, you can have the jingles and you can have the other side where you're telling the story and just make it one big happy ending.
So in terms of your upcoming projects, like if you could work with like 3 female artists in the UK.
3 female artists.
Yeah, female artists.
Do you know, I love the fact that you can say that now. You know, before it was just like, oh, there was never any females. I have to really maybe think about America, but now there's so many people here, which I really, really love. I love Mahalia. I love... I'm gonna stay in the UK because I have a problem with doing that. I have a problem with doing that, but I'm gonna stay in the UK. Ooh, I wanna try and choose a rapper though. Okay, let's come back to rappers. I'm gonna say Dua Lipa. And Cleo Sol. Yeah, I love Cleo Sol. Even though I'm a rapper, I'm a soulstress at heart, and I feel like my rapping against their singing would be an amazing collaboration.
It could happen if you're watching this.
If you're watching
call
this,
her.
just call me on the line.
Call her.
I'll answer.
Okay, let's get the guys involved as well. Okay, 3 male artists, like anywhere from the world. UK,
Anywhere from the
America,
world?
Yeah, anywhere.
I'll say Party Next Door. Love him. I'll say Brent Fayez. Love him too. I'm just telling you my playlist. Realistically. And I'm gonna branch out. I'm gonna say, actually I'm gonna say coffee. Can I add coffee to that?
To the girls.
Yeah.
Can I just
pause and rewind?
Coffee.
Bring it back. But and then another guy, I'll say.
So maybe hot inside.
It's like, I feel like people who are gonna see this know what they want me to say. But I'm not gonna say what they want me to say. I'm gonna say Little Boys.
Ooh, Little Boys.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Little Boys.
That's good. Okay, great answers. Okay, so in terms of your career, I know that it's going to be ups and downs. It's not all rosy and stuff like that. What personal experiences have you faced, like through failure, and how did you overcome them?
See how I can laugh now though?
Before
straight face. But I think I've had an issue maybe collaborating with not more so artists, but like other creatives, like videographers and stuff like that. I wouldn't call it an issue, but I feel like in this game, collaboration is a very natural thing. And even though you're put in a room with someone, you won't always mesh. And I don't even mean in terms of like emotionally or character-wise, more like creatively. Your style and their style might be different. And sometimes when you're trying to achieve a certain visual or something like that, they might not see it, or you might not see what they're trying to do. So I feel like that has kind of been a rut in the past, where it's like, but I feel like everyone goes through it, like you're trying to achieve something visually and someone might not see it, and then you're just going back and forth, and then it takes a lot of time, and it's just like, But that is one of the.
Well, I feel like everything happens for a reason. And
Yeah.
the fact that you can actually lift yourself back up, that's a really good
Yeah,
thing. A lot
exactly.
of people can't do that.
Apart from that, I don't go for nonsense. I walk out. I do okay. I'm gonna
Gotta
head out.
Okay.
But yeah,
That's really cool. But what's one thing we should know about you that we don't know?
I absolutely hate custard cream biscuits.
Thank you.
I can't stand
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah. If
Because
coronavirus wipes out anything, yeah, it better be custard cream
It's
biscuits.
disgusting, right?
Yeah,
It's so nasty.
what's that paste in the middle? What's the paste in the middle? If
I
you can
don't
tell me
like
what the
it.
paste in the middle, then
Yeah,
we
we
can
can
talk.
I'm just saying, like, with you, I wrote that on my Snapchat literally last week. It's disgusting.
It's
Like, why? I don't understand. Well, it was fantastic talking to you. All the best to you in the future. Where can people find you? On Instagram, socials, everything?
You can find me everywhere at official Alora. That's Alora. If you type that in, I'll pop up. Hello.
So yeah, we're gonna have all her socials down below. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned. Also, we are on Spotify right now. The Contemporary Entrepreneur are on Spotify. You can listen to my lovely voice whenever you want. So make sure you check us on Spotify and on YouTube and on Instagram. Bye.